News dump. Oh, wow. April showers bring May flowers. Am I right, Mac? How about that weather?
We are in the first week of April, and we are getting the second highest snowfall of this, I guess, continued winter season. I don't care. I don't care for this, Goo. Goo, I don't know if you recall this. I believe we were in first grade, maybe second grade. The April Fool's Day snowstorm of like
Oh, yeah.
95 or so. That
Yep.
was quite a doozy. It's just when the calendar flips to April, there just snow shouldn't be allowed. I don't know if they're supposed to do that.
News dump. You know what is allowed? Godzilla and Kong dominating the box office.
Yeah, led the way with 80 million. I guess I sort of underestimated that people wanted to go see this movie, or maybe it's hitting the right time frame here where there's no competition these couple weeks. But 80 million and 92% from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, as opposed to 53% from the critics, with a 47 on Metacritic. And that beat out the 2 through 5. Dune's actually still making money. Ghostbusters at 2, Dune 3, Kung Fu Panda at 4,
Kung Fu Fanda.
and the Sydney Sweeney Hot Nun horror movie Immaculate at 5. So credit to Godzilla X Kong.
Let's, in the next couple of weeks, obviously take your time, but let's do a score update of the movie draft soon, and we'll just kind of keep going throughout the year. I'm going to put the poll out soon. Not that it's going to matter, because Dune 2 will win of the best movie of March, but I might just put Dune 4 times.
I whoever got Godzilla, I guess, ended up getting a good buy. Yeah, what did you get it for? Do you remember?
It was a keeper, I believe. No, actually I drafted it early.
Yeah, you didn't keep anything.
I kept everything, especially my pride this year.
So credit to you.
News down. Huge news. Tim Robinson is getting his own HBO show, which he will co-write and star in, called The Chair Company.
This is the best news I've heard in a while, Goo.
Yeah.
This is exactly our style. And it seems like it's going to be, I imagine that this setting will be very Detroiters-like, except now it's on HBO, so he can go full R. I'm just really looking forward to it. And the premise of it here, Goo, is it will be following a man, presumably Robinson, who investigates a far-reaching conspiracy after an embarrassing incident at work. So I imagine the first 15, 20 minutes of the series will be the embarrassing incident, and then him just being full Tim Robinson is going to be awesome.
Is the embarrassing incident that he sits on a whoopee cushion and it makes him believe that he shit his pants?
Either that or he chokes on a hot dog.
Is that what the joke is?
This, I don't know how this could fail. And we've seen in the past, HBO quirky comedies absolutely knock it out of the park. You think back to Flight of the Conchords, like even like low budget HBO comedies rock. So I am all in.
Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals.
Perfect. Good calls.
News dump. Got some Joker Folie à Deux news, the biggest of the bunch being that first up, actually, there's a bunch of big news here. Trailer next week. It will be rated R. Some strong violence, language throughout, and sexual situations. Brief, full nudity, going to call it right now, Cox. And we also got our first poster.
Yeah, and an incredible quote tweet from the real Biff Whiff, who quote tweeted it and said, yeah, well, the script called for it, which is just, it's great. By the way, I clicked on his profile. It doesn't look too great. That sickness, I think, is actually gonna maybe kill him, which is not great. But hey, you still get a sense of humor. I don't know what to think anymore about this movie, Goo. I have no fucking clue. I thought I had a good read on it for a while, and then it told me it was going to be a radio jukebox movie, and now there's going to be some brief full nudity, which, I mean, I'm fine if there's a cock. Just let me see a little gaga, you know?
I was going to say, I think going into every movie now, when I see nudity on the little description there, I'm just going to assume cock. Like, don't get excited.
You got to assume cock. Yeah, I feel like over the last 80 years of cinema, there's been a shit ton of boobs and bush, so they're trying to make up for it with more cocks these days, which I'm fine with. You got to get back to even at some point.
Like, I'm not going to say what movie I saw this week. If you follow us on social media, you might know. But going into it, I said, you know what? It says nudity on the description, and I'm going to assume cocks, And you know what it was? Cocks.
Now, did they go full cocks? Was there an erect cock?
No, I don't think you can show an erect cock.
I was going to say, I think if you go erect cock, you probably get NC-17.
Yeah, which I think was close to what Fast Times at Ridgemont High got, but because they softened it or they didn't show Damone's pecker, they decided give him the R.
At what angle of cock do you have to go NC-17? What do you think? Like once you get over 45 degrees, you got to go NC-17?
Yeah, because they should be allowed to fluff it. Like, you shouldn't have to go on there. Like, like you should be able
give
to
me a chance
a little bit. Yeah,
right. Let me have a fighting chance here.
No, you have to sit in the freezer for 20 minutes before you get on there. News up. Supergirl has a director, or it's nearing a deal to have a director. The movie starring Millie Alcock. The director that is nearing the signing is Craig Gillespie.
We got there. We got that in a roundabout way. That was a really long sentence. You would know Gillespie from I, Tonya and Dumb Money, both of which are sort of semi-realistic, spoofish type movies. So it's an interesting call to make him the director here. But I did love I, Tonya. We both loved I, Tonya. Dumb Money I liked it more than you did.
I thought it was fine, and I think the direction might have been some of the worst stuff, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I thought the editing was bad. I thought some of the choices, the sound mixing.
Bad attitude going into that.
I hate the sound mixing in that movie. But yeah, good on them. News dump. Mac, you did all of this. The Fantastic Four is giving out homework.
Yeah, I don't listen. We're not going to do homework. Goo and I outsource this because we're not readers. We don't do homework. Homework's for the fucking birds. Mm-hmm. We contacted the hashtag book boys here, the TLDR boys, and said, hey, what the fuck do these comics mean? And I was more so concerned. So they gave us like 4 or 5 of the original run of Fantastic Four, which I'm sure is meaningful. But I was more concerned about the 2021 comic. And our pal Dr. Joe said that this story, the Fantastic Four life story #1, is a story that spans decades, which seems to me that is the likely inspiration or the likely story they're going to use to get the Fantastic Four from the 60s to our current times. So I think if you're looking for an inkling or any sign as to what the movie is going to be, you maybe should read that comic. And of course, we also got a couple teasers for Galactus and Silver Surfer in the other 4 or 5 comics they gave us. So it seems like the movie is going to be what people want in regards to Galactus and Silver Surfer. And then the modern stuff will be from Life Story. And Dr. Joe also did say that the end of this movie will very likely tease Dr. Doom.
Right. And 2 things. So number 1, they refused to come on this podcast. They said, we are small potatoes and we will not deal with you.
Yeah.
And then number 2, I think the way that they get from the 60s to now is they are cryogenically frozen.
Yeah, so Doc didn't really tell me how.
Mojo.
Doc said that story, and so
wait, that's a real story that they get cryogenically frozen.
If he's wrong, go to TLDR and you can tweet at them.
Yeah.
Doc said the premise of that story is essentially that Reed Richards is obsessed with Galactus, and so if he discovers him in the 60s. So I also have to wonder how much the Fantastic Four age, being that they're super beings. So maybe they don't age as much as we think. But essentially the story surrounds Reed Richards being obsessed with Galactus. And I really like that angle of a potential Fantastic Four story. So we'll see how that plays out.
Sounds like a super spy who is super into Dr. Evil.
Ooh.
Out of the 3 gentlemen that are in the Fantastic Four, the Thing, Human Torch, and Reed Richards, which of the 3 do you think would have a penis pump, a Swedish penis pump?
So
it's not mine, I swear.
Reed Richards obviously doesn't need it. He would not need it. The Thing, I don't think it would work. So like by default, it's Johnny Storm, right?
And I could see him saying, it's not mine, I swear. News dump. We did get some news that has to do with that movie and with the Silver Surfer. It will be a female Silver Surfer played by Emmy award-winning Julia Garner. The character's name is Shells Ball or Shells By. Is that an L or an
Shells
I?
Ball? I
Ball.
think it's an
Okay.
L. Yeah.
So the fact that it is, a previous character from the comics, it's not just them taking a male character, making it female. That at least is something. She's the Empress of Zenla, the planet Rad, which that's pretty cool because you're a surfer and you think things are rad. The female Silver Surfer has a long history in Marvel Comics. This is from some website that I Googled, and typically depicted as the love interest for the original Silver Surfer, Norrin Rad.
Yeah, I think people are really reading too much into this. I don't think this precludes us from seeing a male Silver Surfer. I think she's probably going to be the predominant Silver Surfer character, at least in this movie, but I don't think that means we're never getting Norrin Rad. We saw, like, in Ant-Man, for example, we got both popular versions of the Ant-Man character. I think you could see something like that. I really don't give a fuck. I just think the idea of Silver Surfer is cool. I don't care if he has tits or not.
Right. But also, it's not like they're just taking a character and saying, no, this is female now. This is at least a character.
Yeah, for sure.
News down. We don't want this, Mac. Sam Raimi.
Worst news of the week.
Well, it's not news yet. It's just that he wants to be the director of Avengers 5. And he said either to ScreenGeek.com or at WonderCon, I'm not sure, but he said, I love 90% of the Marvel heroes that the great Stan Lee, his Marvel universe, created. And the big thing is they have not asked him to direct the Avengers yet, but I hope they do.
Yeah, this is essentially fake news because you have some geek asking him at WonderCon, creating a headline, essentially. They're not going to ask him to direct the Avengers. He's not qualified to direct the Avengers. He, in fact, should just sit back, relax, maybe enjoy these movies and stop directing movies.
What if in this scene we have a POV of your hand punching someone in the face? Just a lot of POVs.
At one point, Sam Raimi had it. He no longer has it.
And look, no, and I think that him doing, say, like a Doctor Strange movie, granted, I didn't love that movie, but him doing a specific character, I'm fine with that. I just think that if you're going to take this huge, huge movie, it can't have like a director's touch on it. It needs to be a blend of several things.
And on top of that, Goo,
I'm not nulling creativity. I just think that you need to have a vision of like, so with Avengers, with Endgame and Infinity.
People understand. Yeah, I think.
No, but what I'm saying though is like with those games, the Russo brothers didn't just say this is a Russo brother movie. They also used the thoughts of James Gunn and Taika Waititi for their characters to still feel like their characters.
Goo, let us not forget that Multiverse of Madness had a top 3 or 4 anticipation level as far as the MCU was concerned. And what did Sam Raimi tell us? That he did not watch or read anything leading up to it that involved the fucking central characters of that movie and the universe. So now he wants the movie that basically the rest of the MCU is hinging upon. And you know what? He ain't going to watch anything. He ain't going to read anything. Get Sam Raimi the fuck away from my MCU movies.
Oh, he likes 90% of the characters, though. How many do you like?
The follow-up question should have been like, name one of the 10%, Sam.
I would absolutely be like, can you go into a little bit of detail here for those 10%? He's like, I don't like Doctor Strange. I don't like Spider-Man.
I hate Venom.
But he might hate Venom. News up. Zoe Saldana said that she wants more Guardians of the Galaxy movies, saying, I think it'd be a huge loss for Marvel if they didn't find a way to bring back the Guardians of the Galaxy, but then also said she doesn't want to come back. She's done. But Gamora can move on with another actress.
They won't bring Gamora back without her. I think there's also a chance we never see the Guardians in their own movie again. That really depends how the next couple of years of Marvel goes.
Also,
I would just like to see Zoe Saldana back in a nice little skin fitting outfit. What am I looking for? Skin tight. Skin tight's the word. Good.
I do like her being like, I'm done with this franchise. What franchise should I do next?
Because she's got to round out her Mount Rushmore.
Well, she's gonna continue with Avatar. I think that she said that she is done with Pirates, but that's someone that they should try and bring back if they're going to try and bring that franchise back.
I didn't even know she was in Pirates, but
Even the first Pirates.
Well, they're making a 4th Star Trek movie in the Chris Pine Star Trek
that's
universe.
What they're saying. Quotes, they're making it. But
So she might be involved in that as well.
Yeah. She makes a lot of money in her movies. When I say she, doesn't mean that she's just in the movies.
Star Trek, Avatar, Guardians.
Avengers. Yeah. News dump. I also want more Guardians. But hey, Mac, you know who is back? And we saw some set shots of this.
Want my Guardians back.
You know what's one of the best? It might have been like 6 months ago. We'll get to this next topic in a second. Like 6 months ago, I was just flooded with the old recordings on Instagram, on Reels, on TikTok of those fellas singing the I Want My Baby Back. Chili's baby back ribs.
Barbecue sauce.
And I would watch it every single time.
That's one of my least favorite episodes of The Office, by the way, the Tim Meadows episode.
I love that episode.
It's
but
not great.
But have you seen them record that song? Not Tim Meadows and Steve. I want the actual people.
I want my
Chili's. Can you think of a better part of Austin Powers when Fat Bastard's like, I want my baby back, baby back, baby. And he wants to eat Mini-Me. Hold up. Can we talk about this for a second?
All right.
Why does Fat Bastard want to eat Mini-Me?
Well, in my head, this is the connection I'm making.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Calves of cows, very delicious meat. So I think in his head, he's thinking babies of humans, very delicious meat.
Like, what is that saying about overweight people? They're just fucking animals. Oh, look at that baby.
If you had to eat one piece of human, what piece would it be?
You mean this? No, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to say something very sexual.
You're part of a soccer team whose airplane has crashed in the mountains.
Oh.
You've got to eat a piece of human. What piece are you eating?
I'm definitely not answering that.
No,
I'm never going to eat a human. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't in the past because we don't know what we've ever eaten before. But
that's true.
I would never, knowingly eat a human.
I think I'd go calf, like a drumstick. That's what I'd go.
All right. The Punisher is back. He is in. He was on some set shots from Daredevil Born Again. It was John Barenthal. Does this get the juices flowing, Mac?
Not really. I mean, this is one of those things where I won't be excited until the day it's on Disney Plus.
I'm pretty excited. So, news dump. You really ruined that topic. We got a trailer for Star Wars.
I gave an answer.
Tale of the Empire. I wouldn't eat a human. I wouldn't eat a human.
So we'd be eating you then.
Probably. I don't know what you'd find on me. Not a lot of meat.
This is coming to Disney Plus on May the 4th.
Like a raccoon.
You'd be purposely darkening your eyes. Guys, you don't want to eat me.
Don't eat the raccoon.
Tales of the Empire is going to be a companion piece to Tales of the Jedi that came out a couple years ago. Tales of the Jedi, I was a little late to the game. Phenomenal. What Tales of the Jedi does is round out some of the characters we already know and love. Gave us one or two new characters in there. And it looks like Tales of the Empire is going to do the same thing. We see Morgan Elsbeth in here and Barriss Offee, who seem to be the two primary main characters of what this season of television is going to be. We also see Thrawn, some Inquisitors, and at the end, we get a tease for Vader. They show us Grievous real quick, too. We all remember, of course, Morgan Elsbeth from Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. We see Barriss Offee in the Clone Wars. So I am very intrigued as to what this is going to do. Based on the quality of Tales of the Jedi, I think Tales of the Empire is going to be phenomenal.
News down. A trailer for Boy Kills World. I didn't watch this. I did see the first trailer. It looks kind of interesting, but it's not something that I'm going to rush to the theaters to see.
Cool. It's what makes us similar that makes us great. I also didn't watch this. I saw Willie Skarsgård do a little spin in the first 2 seconds, and I said, I think I get it. I got it here. It's a big year for Willie Skarsgård.
Big Bill Skarsgård year. News dump. We did get some photos from something that I had no idea was a thing. but it is Maggie Gyllenhaal directed The Bride. And some of the photos, we got Jessie Buckley, who I think is the bride. I don't know. Is she just a girl in the
Who is
movie?
Jessie
Or
Buckley? Why do
I
I
don't
know her?
know. I don't
Okay.
know.
I'm gonna look that up.
The one that the people are talking about, though, is we got a photo of Christian Bale's Frankenstein's monster. IndieWire referred to him as Punk Frankenstein. And my first question was, is the stitches on his forehead covering up his damaged tattoo?
So obviously this is gonna be the Bride of Frankenstein, I'm assuming.
Frankenstein.
I don't know who watched this movie. I don't know. Has
I
Maggie
just slept with Frankenstein's chick.
Oh, that one's so good. Often forgot about, but so good.
Yeah.
Has Maggie Gyllenhaal directed something before? Or is this a debut for her? Do we know?
I don't know. I saw the
Give me a
photo
second.
of Bale and I questioned everything.
So Jessie Buckley does not look familiar to me, but maybe she will to you guys. She was in something called Wild Rose. She was in something called I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
I don't like that.
She was in something called Beast, something called Men, all within the last 5 or 6 years. So maybe she's newish. Maybe she's a great actress. Who knows? I've got no appetite for this goo. I'm all set with this.
No. Have you seen the photo of Christian Bale yet?
I did see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really stupid, right?
Well, I mean,
Check out my tattoo.
I wonder what physically he's going to look like for this role, because that's what he does, is physically transform himself.
Guys, for this role, I physically took my brain out of my head and put it into a dead body. News dump. Danny McBride was talking to GQ, and he said that he hates movie theaters that serve dinners. I hate it. I can't stand it. I also didn't think it makes sense to combine booze with movies. You're just going to have to piss. He later added, I would have
do with piss.
I would have no interest in going to see a movie and pounding IPAs. I just fucking fall asleep.
It's not piss. It's got nothing to do with it. It's clear that he's never actually been to one of these theaters, because they serve you like for the 30 and 45 minutes before the movie. Like, you get in there really early, and that's when you eat and consume. And yes, you still have some leftover stuff.
To be fair, though, what do you say to me every time that we go to the movies and you're not eating? What do you tell me? You don't want to have to take a shit. I thought of you when I saw this.
No, I don't eat in the theater because it's fucking obnoxious. Unrolling your goddamn crinkly ass burrito in the middle of a screening is fucking insane. The drink part, I mean, some people have weak bladders. I could go 4, 5, 6 drinks without popping off, but some people gotta run up. He has more of a point about the drinking aspect. If someone wants to have a fucking Salisbury steak before the movie, by all means.
Why pick a Salisbury steak?
I don't know.
What year are we in? News up. Got another episode of X-Men 90. But this also felt like 2 episodes, and I like how they did this Rugrat style. We got 2 half episodes, and I like how they did not intertwine, because the overall feel of both episodes, the emotions of the 2 episodes are so like polar opposite that it was great how they did not mix them.
Yeah, we did get 2 episodes because the episode title had 2 titles to it. There was a little slash.
But it was like how you would get like 12 and a half minutes of a half episode.
Yep.
Of like a Nicktoon.
I didn't care so much for the video game one, if I'm being honest. I liked the little homage to the arcade game. That was kind of cool for a few seconds, but I didn't care for the rest of the episode. I'm very intrigued as to how Storm is going to get her powers back here with that gentleman whose name escapes me. It does seem like we're not going to, it seems like this season is going to set up an ending in season 2. Does not feel like that to you? Like they're doing a lot of legwork to eventually have kind of like a cliffhanger ending here?
You mean like set up the start of season 2? Like,
yes,
the way that you just said it, you've said that you feel like they're going to have it so that this show is done after 2 seasons. That's kind of how I'm taking
No. The storyline that they're diving into here, with Cable and with obviously Apocalypse kind of in the background and what the hell
Mr.
is
Sinister.
Sinister. I don't think that storyline gets wrapped up in this season is what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I think they're going to have it where this is going to go at least 3 seasons, at least 30 episodes.
The show, yeah. I'm saying this specific storyline.
But I think that all of these stories, because they're pulling from a bunch of different comics right now, a bunch of different storylines where they're going to eventually intertwine them. But I fucking love what they're doing.
Do you think we see Deadpool at any point?
So Deadpool would have been perfect in that arcade episode.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
And that villain would have been perfect in a Deadpool movie.
We get that villain in the original series for an episode or two also. So it's a little bit of a callback.
Yeah, when he was doing the reality TV shows, pretty much.
Yes.
It was a lot like that episode of South Park when Earth was a reality show.
It was similar to that, yes.
Or pretty much all of the intergalactic cable stuff.
Interdimensional cable.
Interdimensional cable. Thank you. News down. Monkey Man opens this week. I missed the screening last night because I had to be a dad, and I'm pretty upset.
Yep. I worked last night. Wish I could have seen it. But also, fuck you guys for giving us a screening one night before the fucking movie opens. It has an 89% on 80 reviews, so a very strong debut. Yeah. No audience score yet. A 72 on Metacritic. So I am definitely going to see this movie this weekend. I'm very much looking forward to it. Go.
News down. The series finale of Curb coming up this weekend.
As we go on, we remember all the time we had together, times we had, time we spent. I never remember what it is.
You almost had that. You had to stop and think it out. I was going with had. You were going with had.
Yeah.
And then you thought it out. You shouldn't have thought of that.
I shouldn't have. The series finale. That's right. Series, not season of Curb Your Enthusiasm is this Sunday night. I am sad about it. I'm like legit sad about it because the nice thing about Curb is there was always a new season lingering.
Or the possibility of a new season.
Right. They never told us it was over until this final season. This season has been awesome so far. Obviously, we lost Richard Lewis along the way, so I hope there's a nice little tribute to him. They already teased this episode with some of like Larry's getting told to fuck off type of stuff. There's been several internet theories along the way about how this show is going to end. A lot of people think it's going to have something to do with the failed Seinfeld finale. I don't think it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of spoofs that. Cool.
Do I have to have seen the last 2 seasons to watch this episode?
No, because Curb, you can kind of just pick it up whenever.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, you should have seen this season at the very least.
Is anyone theorizing that Larry David walks up to his Malibu beach house and Chuck Lorre drops a piano on him?
No one is theorizing that. Not that I've seen, anyways.
Okay, so that's mine.
Okay. You got to type it up and get it out there on Reddit before someone else does.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. News down. And finally, Mac, we are in the final 4 of March MACness, and not too surprised about Hans Landa. He is in the final 4. Thanos in the final 4. Even Shooter McGavin, because that was a weaker region of the bracket. Someone that I am not baffled. He's a great villain, obviously. He made the bracket. He made the upper half of the bracket. But Uncle Scar from The Lion King, the 7 seed, has a good chance of winning this whole thing.
I don't think he's going to win. I think he kind of meets his demise here in the final 4. But I called it. That's who I had in my final 4 from the region. I ended up with 3 of the final 4. McGavin took out the Bandits, who I had as my 4th member of the final 4 here. So I'm hoping we get the Thanos Hans Landa final, because that'll be very bizarre. But this has been a fun little process we've done.
Also, credit to everyone for the Landa one, because I was like, I love this character. Mac loves this character. Is he going to carry through the toughest of the regions, taking out people like Anton Chigurh and Hannibal Lecter? And he did.
He did.
Did
he have any scares? Was there anything that was particularly?
No, these were all like pretty much just laying waste to them, like 70% on
Credit
both.
to the Goobers.
Yeah, credit to you guys. Thank you. News Dump. That'll do it for this episode of News Dump. Mac, do you have any ideas for next week's episode?
Monkey Man, if you see it.
Monkey Man, because I'm still not allowed to talk about the movie that I spoke about earlier until a couple weeks. You want to do MTV Afternoons?
How do you mean?
Next, Room Raiders.
No, I don't want to
Hit My Ride.
No.
We'll eventually get to that.
What are we gonna do? 2 minutes on Next?
No. Oh, dude, Next, you can read all those bios. There's a lot of bios on.
I'd rather do an hour and a half on Silent Library.
Go on.
MTV2. I was a big MTV2 guy when I was in college.
Of course.
MTVU as well. I had a lot of. That's where I learned about some now famous rappers. Was MTVU.
What is Silent Library? I didn't see.
Never seen Silent Library?
No.
It was like a kind of like a game show, but more just a humor show where a group of people would sit down. You couldn't make noise, but they're trying to make you make noise. And then eventually they had like celebrities come on. Jersey Shore did an episode of it.
I'd rather do that Nesson game show hosted by Michael Showalter. Sox University? Sox Academy? I don't know either. Actually, did you ever do 2000s reality shows?
No.
So we might have to do that soon, and maybe we can just mix MTV Afternoons into that because those were all reality.
Yeah, actually, a nice little tease there. I was on #Dork for a little dink this past week discussing The Traitors season 2, which was on Peacock and featured a bunch of reality television characters. It was, to me, one of the better seasons of reality television / game show I had ever seen. It starts out kind of slow. The finale episode is one of the best episodes of reality TV I've ever seen. It was fucking phenomenal.
Okay, then. That'll do it for this news dump. Check us out next time. News dump.